Saskatchewan RCMP are subject of a blistering report from the force's watchdog. The Civilian Review and Complaints Commission examined the death of a Maidstone woman lost on a cold and snowy night 4 years ago. Amanda Michayluk's family had called the RCMP to help search for her, but they didn't. The CBC's Catherine Tunney joins us from Ottawa with more on this CBC exclusive. Catherine, you filed an access to information request to get this report. What happened to Amanda?
Yes, well, that night she was out gathering firewood with her father, needed to fuel their wood furnace at home. It was a cold night, it was a snowy night, and their vehicle kept getting stuck in the snow. So she decided, you know what, I'm going to walk home instead. So she heads home, and for some unknown reason, she does not make the turn to go home. Instead, she keeps walking straight. When their father realized that she was not home, maybe that she was lost in the snow conditions, he, of course, calls 911, asking for a search and rescue team. The RCMP did come out. They kind of looked around initially. It was quite dark at the time, and then they found a pair of tracks that were leading up to a road, and they concluded that they thought she had been picked up by a friend. In their questioning to the family that night, one of the officers made reference to her active social life and that maybe she got picked up by a friend and had left. The family said they were pushing back, saying no, she has 2 young kids. She would not have done that. She must have been missing. It turns out the RCMP did not treat this case as a lost person case. In fact, it took them 35 hours to release a media statement, saying that they were on the lookout for Amanda. Unfortunately, around the same time, people in the area noticed tracks in the snow going somewhere else. They followed that path of tracks, and unfortunately, it led them to Amanda's body. And a coroner determined that she had died of hypothermia, not about 4 kilometers away from where she had last been seen.
So, what are the findings of the Civilian Complaints Commission?
Yeah, it is a quite searing report. So the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission for the RCMP says the RCMP's investigation into her disappearance was plagued by tunnel vision, stereotypes, and shoddy policing. For example, the police told the family, or at least left them with the impression that a search and rescue team would pick up, in the daylight that next day. That never happened, and the fact that they had told the family that, the watchdog called that egregious. There's a line in the report that I think kind of sums it up. It says, although it will never be known for sure, it is possible that she might have been found alive if not for the RCMP's failures in this case. That's kind of a gut-punching quote when you think about it. Another aspect of this case is that, the CRCC, its investigators had access to the police files as they were reviewing the family's complaint, and they make reference that there were references and assumptions about her racial background in those notes. One of the family members told me that they were told that one of the notes, surmised that she might have been Métis. She wasn't. But the CRCC says, that kind of discrimination led to that tunnel vision and might have had an adverse effect on the investigation, something the RCMP and its union are denying.
How did RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki respond to these allegations?
Yes, the RCMP has taken some accountability. It says, this case was regrettable and not in line with the RCMP's service standards. Lucki has agreed with most of the recommendations and most of the findings. She did not agree on that part there about that discrimination played a role in this case. Earlier today, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh was asked about the case, and he says, it raises serious concerns.
Incredibly heartbreaking case. Hearing some of the details of the father of the woman that was missing and then ultimately died, his requests for help going unanswered. There are some serious concerns raised here. It's heartbreaking that a family member would try to seek help and not get it, and then as a result, a young woman lost her life. I mean, this is really horrible. And again, another example of some issues that need to be addressed, some serious issues that need to be addressed in the RCMP and in policing.
Now, interestingly enough, one of the recommendations that Commissioner Lucki did agree with was that the RCMP members involved go to a code of conduct process. That's kind of an adjudicator. They would present their side, and all the evidence would be weighed. Lucki agreed that should happen, but the local division thought that'd be inappropriate, so that never happened, and instead some operational guidance was provided to the Mounties instead. When we kind of asked if they could explain why they thought it would be inappropriate, we were told that for privacy reasons they could not answer.
Catherine, thanks for your work on this.
Thank you.